6:45 now, and today dozens of Denver Post journalists are waking up without a job. Many workers took to the newspaper's own editorial page to demand some change from their corporate owners.
Now on Sunday, the paper's editorial section called Perspective had this headline, News Matters. The series of editorials inside asks for the venture capital fund that owns the paper to sell it to another owner.
As you know, over the last several years, the paper has undergone a lot of staff reductions. Take a look at the photo. You can see it behind us here, and you can see that this is each silhouette there. It represents a person working for the paper back in 2013 who's no longer employed there today. And then today, 24 more are being let go.
Our Megan Lopez is live outside the Denver Post headquarters this morning. Megan, some mixed emotions here.
Certainly some mixed emotions, Mitch and Nicole. I mean, there's a lot of sadness if you read this Perspectives page. There's a lot of fear about the future, but there's also just a ton of anger. And this was a very daring move on the Post's part because they're speaking out against the owner of not only this, but 90 other newspapers across the country. So today's cuts are going to make national headlines, and they have made national headlines. An article about the layoffs and the company behind them made the New York Times. It was also discussed at length on a CNN Sunday talk show. And the reason this story is making national headlines is not only because it's part of a larger trend that we're seeing in newspapers across the country, but it's because of how the staffers are handling it. They're using some really harsh words against Albin Global Capital. That's the New York-based hedge fund that owns this and all the other newspapers, the 90 newspapers across the country that it has a share in. Now, the titles of these columns say things like, Colorado should demand a newspaper it deserves, or love us or hate us, you'll miss us when we're gone, or stories that might not get told. And online people are calling this a bloodbath and saying Albin Global Capital is a bunch of vultures, so they're certainly not mincing their words. But at the end of the day, it's about the people. And these are some of the faces of the people who confirmed on their Twitter accounts that they're the casualties of this layoff. They have decades of experience. They include sports writers and photographers, video editors, outdoor writers, and more that today are out of a job. Now, the editor of this editorial page, this Perspectives page, is Chuck Plunkett. Believe it or not, he did not tell the editor-in-chief of the Denver Post that he was planning on doing this. He did not tell the company that owns this newspaper that he was doing this. He just did it. And his job right now is safe, but he did it because his friends, his co-workers that he's worked alongside for decades are losing their jobs here at the Post. I'm live in Adams County. Megan Lopez, Denver 7.